Gentlemen,
Hold on one second.
microphone on? Yes, it is. Very good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is going to be a very informative forum tonight, and hopefully an opportunity for many of you that have braved the cold to come out and ask questions, to gather certainly lots of information, and also the opportunity to network with many different people that are in the room tonight. I wanted to begin by firstly introducing myself. My name is David Southwick. I'm the State Member for Caulfield, and this particular forum came about because some months back I was sitting in the Parliament with a couple of my colleagues, Glen Eira, Elizabeth Miller, and we were talking, and also Shannon Eales, that was visiting from candidate from Albert Park, that was visiting the Parliament at the time, and we were talking about some of the issues that affect us within our various electorates. And the one issue that really resonated with all of us, and certainly resonates right throughout our state and our country, is domestic violence. And we thought to ourselves that certainly as a government we're doing a lot of things. We've got the Police Commissioner, which we'll be talking later, doing a whole lot of different things. There are so many organisations that are doing a whole lot of very important things, but we felt it important to bring people together to share those important things, and that's why we're here today. And I wanted to share with you, because this certainly resonated with me, an article back in June which was written talking about a strategy in a country town, and it was suggesting that around the country police receive more than 1,000 domestic violence-related calls a day. Those take up to 40% of police time, and 1/3 of those come from rural and regional Victoria. Now, this particular article came from a town in Maryborough, and the community in Maryborough thought to themselves that they were going to actually take up the challenge and do something about it and get the community involved. And it all started with a local baker that was also a Rotarian, with the school teachers, with the local police inspectors, and with various other stakeholders within that community that got together to actually do something about their local issues in their local town. And so, reflecting on that, I think tonight it's really important that the issues that we're going to talk about resonate within our own area, within this area, within Glen Eira and Stonington and the surrounding areas. And so it's important that we together look at strategies to prevent the horrible situations of domestic violence, and also, on a positive note, what we can do to ensure that we have respect in all relationships. I wanted to recognise a number of people that are here with us tonight. Firstly, Minister for Community Services, Mental Health, Disability Services and Reform, the Honourable Mary Woolridge, which will be speaking shortly. Elizabeth Miller and Glen Eira, Elizabeth the Member for Bentley and Glen Eira the Member for Prahran and the Parliamentary Secretary for Education. Chief Commissioner Ken Lane, who has done a fantastic job in this particular area and is a strong advocate in fighting domestic violence. Fiona McCormack, who is the CEO of Domestic Violence Victoria, and Fiona will be emceeing tonight's event. Rosie Batty, who is here in being able to share her story with us, and also a proud recipient of the Pride of Australia medal, nominee. Maya Avridovich, CEO of the In Touch Multicultural Centre Against Family Violence, which will also be on the panel. Rodney Vlas, Acting CEO of No to Violence and the Men's Referral Service. So we will be having those panellists with us later to be able to answer some questions and share information with us. But also tonight, we're very fortunate in this was organised in conjunction with a number of organisations that have put this on and have certainly worked within their various organisations and their supporters. And I wanted to particularly recognise the National Council of Women Victoria and National Council of Women Australia, to the Salvation Army and the Crisis Service, to Impact for Women, National Council of Victorian Division, the Jewish Taskforce Against Family Violence, and the Jewish Community Council of Victoria. And there are a number of representatives here tonight. Shirley Glantz, the President of the NCJW Victoria. There is also Nina Bassett, the President of the Jewish Community Council of Victoria. Debbie Weiner from the Jewish Taskforce Against Family Violence, and Shane Yu. Malvina Melanet and Jenny Russell from the National Council of Women Victoria. And also I wanted to recognise a number of police inspectors and officers that are here with us tonight. Divisional Family Violence Senior Sergeant Fiona Alexander and Local Area Commander Inspector Lauren Callaway, who is working very much in our local area combating this very important issue of family violence. Marion Lau, who is a Commissioner for the Victorian Multicultural Commission. Shannon Eels, the Liberal candidate for Albert Park, and Fred Ackerman, Liberal candidate for Essendon. Margaret Fitzherbert, Liberal candidate in the Upper House. So it is an exhaustive list. There are lots of people here, and most importantly, you're all here tonight to talk about this very important issue. What will happen now is I'm going to call on Fiona McCormack to come up and to MC this evening. We will hear from, firstly, Mary Wooldridge, the Minister, followed by Chief Commissioner Ken Lay. Following that, we will have a panel, which will give us the opportunity to really delve into some of the discussion, and then we'll finish off with some questions from all of you in the audience. So please think about some of the important issues that you want to cover tonight, because this really is about how we can all make a difference. Thank you all for coming, and enjoy the evening.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations on this brilliant, absolutely brilliant event to the organisers, and also to all of you to turn up on, as David said, such a horrible night. Violence against women, it's a driver of 35% of our homelessness in Victoria. It's factoring over 80% of child deaths known to DHS last year. It costs our Victorian economy $3.4 billion every year. There's a woman murdered every week in Australia, but we've had 29 women and 8 children murdered just last year in Victoria. That's not counting all the women and children we've seen murdered this year. And I think the only way in which we're going to turn this around is communities actually getting together, exactly like you are tonight, and learning a little bit more about it. And I think this is what tonight's about. We've got some fantastic speakers who have shown such terrific leadership in really getting the profile of the issue of violence against women up here, up there in Victorian consciousness. But also to ask the questions. And I know that this is an issue that people have lots of questions about. So the rules tonight are there are no dumb questions. So long as they're posed, and I know they will be respectfully. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Something really, really important that's completely flown out of my mind. I will say, I just want to start by acknowledging that this is Wurundjeri land and paying my respects to any elders here, past and present. So, let me start. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm the MC, so I'm going to be cracking things along to keep things interesting and going at a good pace. So, let me get started by introducing the Honourable Mary Wooldridge, the Minister for Mental Health, Community Services, Disability Services and Reform. There can be no doubt as to the Minister's commitment on this issue, and we look forward to hearing her speak. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fiona, and it's a real pleasure to be here tonight with all of you to have this very important discussion that we're planning to have. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional owners who have loved and nurtured the land we meet on tonight for many, many hundreds of generations. And it is a great gathering, and David has done an excellent job in acknowledging all of you in terms of the importance of being here tonight for this conversation. I do want to thank David in conjunction with Clem and Elizabeth for their leadership in initiating this forum, and all the community organisations that David acknowledged as well for coming together to put this on. And so thank you to everyone who's been involved. in tonight's preparations. I'm also very pleased to acknowledge Shannon Eales, Fred Ackerman and Margaret Fitzherbert, who I'm hoping will all be parliamentary colleagues in the not too distant future, and who have all individually been very engaged on this issue as well. We have a great panel. Can I say the panel tonight doesn't get any better? And I actually wasn't on the panel, so that's not something from a personal perspective, although I am going to sneak on to the end of it. But the combination with Fiona and her leadership in terms of emceeing, but she is a fantastic advocate. And can I tell you, as someone who's on the end of that advocacy, she does a great job, and as does Maya and Rodney and Rosie, all bringing their very unique and particular passionate perspectives on this issue. And so we're really in for a treat tonight in terms of the quality of the people that you've got to engage on this important topic. And as community leaders, we all have an opportunity, and I believe also a responsibility, to challenge and to change the attitudes that support gender inequality and that contribute to family violence, whether it's in Parliament, in the local community, in the workplace or in the home. We are, I believe, starting to have an impact. And together we are and need to continue to build healthier communities with a culture of respect and non-violence, encouraging all individuals to speak up and oppose violence against women and their children. And as individuals and as organisations, we need to lead by example in our attitudes and in our actions, by influencing friends, peers, wider professional networks that sexist, derogatory and demeaning comments and actions are simply not acceptable. Not here in Caulfield, not anywhere. And in many cases, the origins of the behaviour of those perpetrating violence have come from deeply held personal views about gender equality. These are embedded at an early age. They are reinforced by family behaviour, by peer norms, what children see in the media, and in sporting and social environments that they're involved with. Now let me give you an example of this. It's hard to compete with the aerobics class that's happening in the back there, but
bad practice.
Let me tell you a story that really reinforced this to me. Now I often go, and members of Parliament visit many primary schools, and I was in a forum with Year 5 and Year 6 children, and one child asked me a question. They said, "Do you prefer Julia Gillard or Kevin Rudd?" Now